Praise the Lord, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our September 9th, 2025 City Council meeting. Please stand for invocation by Councilwoman Reed.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for this beautiful day that you bless us with. We ask blessings over our city tonight, over all the families and all of the children. God, we just pray for a safe night in our city. We pray that you provide comfort and peace to all those in need. And we ask for a peaceful meeting. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Divided into 4 sections: consent agenda, public hearing, public comment, and general business. The first section is consent agenda. It includes routine items that can be approved with one vote. Earlier today, I did receive a request from a couple of council members to pull all of the minutes. So that's June 10th, June 23rd, June 24th, June 30th, and July 8th, pending some revisions that they would like me to take a look at.
May I have a motion to vote on the consent agenda as it is?
So moved.
Second.
Point of order.
And what is your point of order?
Point of
sir?
order is section 5.2 of the rules of procedure says, upon request of a council member, an item shall be removed from the consent agenda. The item shall be considered separately after adoption of the consent agenda. The clerk said that there were multiple requests from council members to have minutes removed, and the point of order is that it would violate our rules of procedure to advance with adopting or approving the consent agenda. We can't do that. The rules are clear because there's been multiple requests.
No.
So, Mayor, it sounds like there's been an objection to adopt the consent agenda as presented. So typically what we've done is we take out the matters and put them on general business for consideration at the end of the meeting to consider one by one. So I guess the question is which ones on the consent agenda are being objected to?
I think it's whatever the clerk just said.
Consent agenda numbers 2 through 6.
We have a motion to put them at the back of the agenda for tonight.
So moved.
For discussion.
That's
There
not.
wasn't a second, but
I intend to second it, but you already have a motion at hand, so that's why I didn't.
So I think it's okay to go ahead and proceed with Councilmember Reed's motion and the second with Mr. Feraldi because there's been an objection to the consent agenda on a point of order. So I think really it's technically being withdrawn once there's an objection.
Speak to your motion, Ms. Reed.
So to the point of order, that's fine. We can go ahead and vote on item 1 of the consent agenda, and then per the rules of procedure, put items 2 through 6 at the end of the general business.
Ms. Timmer?
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to go back to our previous suggestion, which is to hold for another meeting, simply because there have been ongoing discussions and emails with the clerk regarding this, just in order to ensure that all the minutes are aligned with the transcripts. So I don't see why it needs to be put on general business for tonight when the question is just ensuring that alignment, and there's been an ongoing conversation with the clerk in that regard. I think it's simpler just to wait one more meeting.
Mr. Dean?
Yeah, I apologize. I thought we were going to do what we always do, which is if somebody has any reason at all, you don't have to even explain. You can pull minutes, and we, by consent and out of respect, just do it. That's why I voted. I didn't realize it was still on the consent agenda. I thought we'd already disposed of it. So I don't even know why we're moving them to the end of the meeting, because that is not how we normally would deal with these things. I would really just like to do what we normally do, which is, I've turned in some, and the clerk had indicated that they would be removed. So I took her at her word that they would be removed. Yeah. And that's why I misunderstood where we were, because when she said that, I thought they were not on for discussion.
Madam Clerk, did you say they would be removed?
I probably said that if there's a request from council to take items off, I will bring that up during a meeting
Okay,
to
so
suggest
you
pulling them.
meant, was it intended that during the meeting, there was a request from council? Because we don't vote on an email. So even if there was a request on an email, it can't be done per a council member to you during an email, correct?
Right, I would not be able to take anything off consent agenda. I could just suggest that there's a request to have these pulled.
Correct.
And
So
then
it
you all
would-
make the motion during the meeting.
Correct. The action has to happen during a meeting. It can't be done in an email, which is what we're doing right now.
Ms. Timmer?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an interesting discussion for so many reasons. But I am curious why it is so valuable and so necessary to vote on these minutes tonight when there have been a series of emails, and feel free to FOIA them, that essentially are requesting, and this is, you've put in so much time on these minutes. The budget discussions have been long and tedious. We all know that. This isn't an accusation against any particular person or anything when it comes to the nature of the minutes. It's just a tedious process. And so ensuring that the minutes accurately align with the transcripts has been an ongoing discussion through email and through various participation. So I do not understand the rush in order to push through minutes where there is now documented email chains that demonstrate that the minutes do not currently reflect the transcripts of our meeting discussion. So 2 more weeks isn't hurting anyone that I'm aware of in order for that discussion to continue so that we can ensure that our minutes accurately reflect the votes and the nature of the meeting in alignment with the transcript. So the nature of this current discussion is confusing to me. I keep wanting to call you Alicia, I'm sorry. What Ms. Finney said verbatim or not is not really the concern. There's been a tradition or a history, to my understanding, of when there's a request to pull something from the consent agenda, you do it. So that's the assumption that a lot of council members are operating on. It's the assumption that I understood in the context of the email and in earlier discussions today. So again, why the rush to push this through in general business tonight? Feel free to join the email chains in the discussion of ensuring that the minutes are accurate in alignment with the transcripts. But I think we just wait
Okay.
2 weeks.
Mr. Ferrari?
Well, thank you, Mayor. I'm voting in favor of Ms. Reed's motion. There is not a rush. In fact, we're behind. This has been delayed for now 4 weeks, as a matter of fact. And we are in a position where we need to reconcile our obligations of our charter to pass minutes that accurately reflect our meetings. I believe these minutes do accurately reflect our meetings, and therefore they should pass. It's quite simple there. There is nothing nefarious with that. This is not being rushed. Actually, we're already behind. So I say let's vote and move.
Mr. Missions?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be opposing the motion, and the reason that I'll be opposing the motion is because the minutes actually don't accurately reflect what was done, and there's even some questions as to whether or not they even comply with the Freedom of Information Act on the information that's required, which is summary of the discussion on matters proposed, deliberated, or decided, even if no vote or no discussion occurred. It's pretty clear what the code says is required to be in the minutes. There have been things that have been identified, and I appreciate the work that the clerk has been doing with us in the background. The first reading of the budget in the June 24th minutes, the motion and the votes for adopting the general operating budget, excluding external discretionary service providers and schools operating budget, was not even in there until we started looking into these things. So, and it's hours and hours and hours and hours of video and content, and the record needs to accurately reflect what is shown. So I simply ask you to give the clerk more time because she's been doing a wonderful job working with me, and I'm assuming my peers as well that have also been sending in these requests. You know, it actually showed that we increased revenue or taxes in the first reading budget minutes, and those numbers were wrong, and she was able to get with the finance staff and get those corrected, and I appreciate that work as well. And there's just been a lot of things that we found as we started peeling the layers back on these hours and hours of video of these minutes that just were not accurately reflected. Certain points of the discussion that were omitted, that were critical in the decision-making from recommendations from staff, not included in the minutes, should be included in the minutes. And so I just ask that you give the clerk more time and us more time to work with the clerk to get these. So I'm voting against it, not because there's something wrong with what the clerk is doing. It's that to give us more time and that we don't end up having a lengthy debate on this evening. Because I can tell you, if we just kick, how many sets of minutes are we looking at now? Five sets of minutes. They'll all have to be individually addressed. We can debate for 30 minutes on each matter. It's going to make for a long night, where I think that if we just move it to the next consent agenda, Mr. Mayor, by denying this motion, and then it gets moved to the next consent agenda for the next meeting, then it'll just get adopted the consent agenda.
What you're telling me, you don't have enough information on the items that you and everybody else participated in?
No,
That's not what I said, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, the minutes need to accurately reflect the statements that were made, the discussions that were had, the actions that were taken. You know, they need to reflect that. And if they don't reflect that, they're not accurate, and I can't support them. But what I want to do is I want to give the clerk more time to look at the feedback we provided to her and actually get back and say, you know what? Just like we've done for the last week and a half now. She made some adjustments, she changed some numbers, she found a vote that was missing, and so on and so forth, until we have minutes that I feel comfortable they accurately reflect what happened, what the video says. And I provided time-stamped links to her in the YouTube videos. Anybody can FOIA request these emails that show what I've asked for, and it takes you exactly to what was said by who that's missing from the minutes or correcting it. And she has been working with these things. It just takes time because we're probably talking about somewhere in the, I mean, I don't know, it might be 15 or 20 hours worth of meeting video to get these right. And it's a lot of work. Last year, when we were in this position, we got a bunch of the minutes in advance to be able to review during the summer. This year we didn't get them as early in advance, so it's taken more time. So I just think that it would be prudent, and it would give us it would demonstrate the diligence that it deserves, that the record is accurately reflected on what happened in these meetings. It'll be much smoother, much simpler if we just give her time to take a look at these issues that have been raised by multiple council members, including myself, and then it comes back on the consent agenda next meeting. So by voting against this, what I'm saying is I'm voting against this because I don't think we need to, one by one, debate each set of minutes this evening. We should just move these minutes to the next consent agenda. I have all the faith in the world with our clerk that she's going to have the minutes accurate to everybody's, everybody's going to be satisfied with it if we just give her until the next consent agenda. If not, it's going to add another hour or two to this meeting tonight, and I just don't think it's necessary.
Mr. Attorney, you have something to say.
All I was going to offer, Mayor, is in the past when I've seen the minutes pulled, it's typically for technical reasons, things that would be easily fixed. If there are reasons to think, if council members are going to argue about the substance of the minutes, in my opinion, general business is the appropriate place for it, because it's going to put our clerk in a tough predicament of having to choose between two council members as to substantively what minutes are going to reflect, and that's really up to city council members to determine.
Can you wait until the attorney's done talking before you wave your hand, please? It's very distracting. Like, I mean, it really is.
I'm finished. I'm finished, Mayor. That's all I had to offer.
Go ahead, Jack.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, did I support 89 cents? Did I support 89 cents, the 89 cent rate?
No, you didn't.
The minutes say that I did. And so, Mr. Mayor, I'm not putting that on the clerk. No,
Point of order. Germaneness. We need to talk about the consent agenda. If you want to talk about each individual minute, it has to be on each individual item under general business, and that's what this conversation is about. My point of order is germaneness.
Absolutely, Jerry.
I have to agree with him.
I'm not surprised. My point, Mr. Mayor, is that,
Because he pokes you in the chest?
no,
Like it
don't
was the school board meeting?
don't go there. Don't do it. Let's keep moving forward. The minutes, Mr. Mayor, should reflect the transcript. They should reflect the transcript. Ms. Finney has been great to work with. I'm very grateful, but they should reflect the transcript. They should reflect what was said. So there's opportunity to, again, move this out 2 weeks, continue to have those conversations to make sure they reconcile. This isn't a matter of opinion in the discussion. This is about what was actually said in the context of the transcript that can be verified. That's completely different. That's completely different. And so this really should be moved out 2 weeks. Mr. Mayor, you are going to do what you want to do, and that's fine.
Exactly.
But I am requesting that you recognize that the chaos that is ensuing on this council is being created by the decisions that you are making right now. And there is
100%.
opportunity for this discussion to happen in the appropriate context and the appropriate avenue. And it is open to the public because it's FOIA-able. But we don't need to spend 2-3 hours tonight hashing out something between a transcript and a minute when it can be done through the email records, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Finney, would you like to have more time to dissect the stuff?
So these are council's minutes. I maintain that. I tried to provide you all with records that are true and accurate that you think. But it's up to at least the majority of you whether these are true and accurate forms of events. The request came in late last night. Today, it's a council day. I've not had a chance to review those. So I can't speak to what the requests are that need to be made.
Okay, so if you had another 2 weeks, it would be better for you to,
If I had another 2 weeks, I'd go back and for sure fine comb and look at the suggestions. But we also have an August meeting and now a first September meeting. So it's just pushing the work back, which
Right.
is fine, but.
Ms. Reed?
So we talk about transparency all the time. Why wouldn't you want to discuss this in general business for the entire city to hear your concerns that you feel weren't accurately reflected in those minutes? Also, to message or email our clerk the night before and the morning of the meeting for minutes that you had time to look through, like the rest of us did, and ask her to now address those things tonight, last night, and this morning, and then go, oh, let's delay it 2 more weeks, is not responsible or fair. She just said now she has even more, that puts her more behind. We have to be respectful of the work that our staff has to do. So let's discuss it. Let's let everybody hear it right now. So you're gonna make them FOIA the emails, so if they wanna see what it is that you're concerned about? No, let's talk about it tonight. If we have to stay, you never seem to be concerned about the 6 hours we all have to stay in other meetings. Let's do it. My motion's still on the floor.
Mr. Deemer?
Before I sent in my request this morning at 8:17 a.m., our clerk, and out of respect to her, I do want to do what she wants to do. And she said, good morning, I heard from council members, feedback for the June 24th, June 30th, and June 8th minutes collectively. She said, I'd like to pull those minutes from the consent agenda tonight so that I can review their input. I want to do what the clerk said she was doing, and that's why I thought we actually, when she said that's what she wanted to do a minute ago, I thought that's what we were doing. I'm not trying to not discuss this, but video doesn't lie. And if we care about accuracy, we've spent a lot of time and effort and work, as well as the staff. I'm not trying to discount the staff at all, but we your colleagues up here on this platform who work with you have looked at hours and hours.
Y'all don't work with me, you work against me.
Well,
Else you wouldn't
I'm
have said
sorry
what
you
you
feel
said.
that way.
Jacqueline,
I think I need to finish, Mr. Mayor. I'm certainly not finished.
go ahead.
And your commentary that I don't work with you matches nothing that you and I have done. Because I have tried to work with you in every way, shape, and possible. And I just want to be recognized and allowed to finish.
Finish.
So the clerk has said she would like to pull those minutes from the consent agenda tonight. We've got at least 3 members that have said they want to pull them from tonight. We've done a lot of work to make them accurate. And if we care about the truth, let's put it off to the next meeting and we'll fully deal with it then. You're right, we have to deal with it. Either tonight or next time.
Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't appreciate the comment that you just made, saying that we don't work with you. I've extended a lot of grace to you, Mr. Mayor. I champion supporting you for mayor. And I want to remain proud of that vote for mayor. When I hear a comment like that, makes me question it, because I know that's not you. I know your heart. And Mr. Mayor, what it comes down to with this is, it's pretty simple. There's information that's relevant to the decisions that were made that aren't in the draft minutes. There was a complete budget vote omitted in the first draft. These emails didn't start last night and today. My first email to our clerk that started this chain was over 2 weeks ago. August 25th. Good morning, Alicia. I've been reviewing the minutes you provided and have started making a list of questions I'm finding with the following minutes. 6:23, 6:24, 6:30, 7:08. Can you please pull these for tomorrow night, the last meeting? Rather than just ask you to revisit remarks I made, I want to finish my thorough review and provide you with accurate feedback and timestamps to make it easier on you. And then there were hours upon hours upon hours of video that I had to review to find it for her so that hopefully she didn't have to spend hours upon hours. She could just click a link or go to a minute mark, and then there's where my question lied. I was trying to make it easier on our clerk. And it takes time to do that. And let me tell you something. If you read the emails, please FOIA my emails. Press, please FOIA my emails. I've got a tremendous amount more respect for the work that it takes in putting these minutes together after the work that I've put in the last 2 weeks with my colleagues, trying to identify these things. Because quite frankly, I don't know how she does it, because it's a lot. And I know from past experience, when we give her time and feedback, that she delivers perfect, 100% accurate. That's all I'm asking. Let's give our clerk 2 more weeks, put these things on the consent agenda and pass them. Because I don't have any more questions about them. I think we've covered everything I've sent her in going back and forth. And I'll be satisfied with her response. So with that said, if we give her 2 more weeks, it's gonna save us a lot of time tonight. Because if we have to debate these one by one tonight, because that's what'll happen when they go to general business, I'll be prepared to be playing video clips from my computer into the microphone, and I will be going through to put on the record in tonight's meeting the things that I don't see is missing, and it will take hours to do it, and I just don't think that that's necessary. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Is there anyone else? Well,
Just one final comment, Mayor. I find it rich that all of a sudden now we care about saving people's time. Thank you.
okay. Can we have a vote on the first item of the agenda? the consent agenda.
Was the motion on the floor, I believe, is to move items 2 through 6 under general business. That was made by Councilmember Reed, seconded by Councilmember Parati. Is that a correct motion?
So voting for that motion will create hours of debate tonight over the minutes. Voting against it will move them to the consent agenda on the next meeting.
I'm prepared to play the video to show my changes, but it'll certainly take some time.
Threatening with time?
Yeah, I mean, are we
Nah.
to get their way? My motion stands. You want to call the vote, sir?
Let us vote to, have a vote to move this 2 through 6 for discussion later tonight.
Initiating vote.
I got a oops.
Okay. You want me to reset it?
It says you've already.
I think I do have to reset it. I'm so sorry. 1 second. Initiating the vote now.
I did vote, but did not. I vote no.
Okay, thank you. The motion fails, 2-5.
Mayor, I have a motion. Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
The consent agenda being the full or item 1?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
It's out of order. Mr. Mayor, point of order. The point of order is that.
Do I have a second?
The point of order.
And what is your point of order?
Point of order again is that upon request of a council member, an item shall be removed from the consent agenda. So the question is, are these items removed? Items 2 through 6, are they removed from the consent agenda? That's what our rules say. So Mr. Feraldi's made the motion to approve the consent agenda. So are we approving the consent agenda minus 2 through 6, as our rules would require us to do, or are we approving it or with just item 1? That's what it comes down to.
Mr. Ferrari, you want to approve the whole consent agenda? As it is, as it's written? Or you just want to do item 1?
I've moved to the adoption of the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Point of order? We cannot adopt the consent agenda because the rules are clear, section 5(2)D. Upon request of a council member, an item shall be removed from the consent agenda. The item shall be considered separately after adoption of the consent agenda. I'm happy to vote for the consent agenda once it's been confirmed that we are complying with our rules of procedure and that items 2 through 6 have been removed from the consent agenda as required. So confirmation from you that the consent agenda adoption, that the motion only includes number 1, that 2 through 6 have been removed in accordance with our rules of procedure, I'd be happy to approve the consent agenda, but I cannot approve it as it stands with 2 through 6.
So Mayor, Councilman Mischins is correct. So just for the same reason before, when we addressed the issue, the consent agenda, it was about moving it. So what I would offer, in the interest of time, if it will help council members, is maybe someone do a substitute motion to move 2 through 6 to the next meeting to be considered again under that consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a substitute motion.
Do you have a second?
I haven't made the motion yet.
We'll make the motion.
The substitute motion would be to only pass the ones that hasn't been requested removed, Therefore, only 3.1 is part of the consent agenda tonight. I'll make that as a substitute motion.
I'll second that. She seconds that.
Second?
Can I speak to my motion?
Yes.
As I said earlier, this is traditionally what we do. This is the way we normally treat each other with respect that I've ever watched. Anytime any member, y'all included, we would certainly give you that respect if you wanted to remove something from the consent agenda. The consent agenda, just so everybody understands, means it's been agreed to by everybody. That's why it's on the consent agenda. Clearly, these items are not on the consent agenda. You've got to have 100% consent to even be on the consent agenda. Clearly, that is not the case of what's going on here. So my motion basically just does what we've always done, shows respect, the way we always show respect to any member of any side for any reason who requests something to be removed from the consent agenda, and specifically the way we deal with minutes. If we need more time, if the clerk needs more time, she's asked for more time. Let's show her the respect. I read the email. She clearly asked for that, to do that. So let's do that. Please, I would encourage you to vote for this motion as a sign of respect to your colleagues and the clerk.
Mr. Ferrari?
I have been and will continue to be nothing but respectful in this meeting. And I reject the notion that I haven't been. I could be respectful with not being courteous. Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Timmer?
Yeah, I'd love to speak to my second. I just think there's an opportunity to keep moving forward with business. So I proudly support item number 1 on the consent agenda and look forward to working with the clerk on the minutes as continued, per tradition, how things are typically done. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Marty?
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. Kind of echo the comments of my colleague here. We need to get this Kinship Navigator program going. Let's get it approved. Let's get this item number 1 out of the way. That's why I'll be supporting the substitute motion, and then move on to the public hearing that people are obviously here for, and hearing from our citizens and wrapping up the general business we have for this evening. That's why I'll be supporting the substitute motion. Thank you.
Now I have a vote on the substitute motion.
We should vote now. Vice Mayor Deemer.
Your vote has already been cast.
Mine is not working.
And that's what this is saying too, I think.
There's only one missing. Did you just say it?
Well, yeah, I'm in favor of my own motion.
The motion passes 6-1.
So substitute motions, now the main motion. If this one is adopted, the way I interpret it, it'll adopt number 1 and move items 2 through 6 to the next meeting under the consent agenda.
Mayor,
Mr. Ferrari?
thank you. I'll be voting no, and I've already submitted another email that the public can happily FOIA if they so desire. I believe these minutes accurately reflect the last meetings. Any further changes to them, I believe, are politically motivated to save politicians behinds. This is nothing more than a SIA. And if you know the abbreviation, you know what I'm trying to communicate, since someone wants to keep on trying to police my supposed language. I think it is inappropriate to put our clerk in this position, and we are delaying the business of the people that we are obligated in the charter. These minutes actually are incredibly important. We are obligated in the charter to adopt them, and we have elected and appointed a clerk to use her best judgment on interpreting these meetings, and then we approve them. Any further changes to this effect, other than technical, would be extremely out of the ordinary, and I will not be lectured by members of this dais who've been collectively doing this job for maybe a year when I've been doing it for over 6 about what is typical or not. This is not typical. So with that, I am overwhelmingly voting against this motion, and I would challenge my colleagues to be very mindful about how they handle these minutes. Thank you. Or any minutes, for that matter.
Ms. Tooman.
Thank you, Mr. Feraldi. I just want to reiterate my point that there's so much value, and I agree these minutes are incredibly important. And it's incredibly important that they reflect clearly what happened in a way that there's not confusion. So as Mr. Mischens put forward, the emails that have been sent to the clerk clearly provide timestamps and quotations in order to clarify and rectify the record. That's an important process, and I invite my colleague, Mr. Feraldi, to participate in that process if he has concerns about what is reflected. With that, I will be supporting the motion. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor,
Mr. Ferrari.
I'll be brief, and this will be my last comment on this front. If my colleagues, the 3 on the other side of the dais, truly cared about my input on these meeting changes, they would have included all of us on the email from the get-go. Thank you.
Mr. Mischens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's actually not accurate because we've been advised in our FOIA training not to have chain emails amongst the 7 of us. That's exactly what the attorney provided us in the FOIA training. So I will be supporting this motion, and the reason I'll be supporting this motion is because I believe that the updates that are being made to these minutes, or the requested revisions, some of these have been updated. One of them is accurately reflecting how many of your tax dollars are going to be spent in the next fiscal year. And I really appreciate the work that our clerk and the finance staff did on getting that corrected, because it was off by millions. So that was a good catch. And the fact that who voted for and against the budget was also not reflected, but that's now been corrected. So I think that due diligence, prudence, it's a lot. Again, I have a tremendous amount of respect for what our clerk does after going through this process. And I'm ready to move on with the rest of the meeting. That's why I'll be supporting this motion. Let's get a kinship navigator program for social services that's desperately needed. And let's get the business of our citizens done. And I just urge you to vote with this motion and move on. Thank you.
Mayor, I apologize that the clerk had mentioned to me some concerns about the wording of the original motion. Can council agree on, as consensus, that the motion on the table is to adopt number 1, the kinship navigator program under the consent agenda, and to move items 2 through 6 to the next meeting under consent agenda?
Yes.
Mayor, if I may, just for the record.
It is, but just for our record.
Mayor, if I may, for the record, I'll consent to the notion that that was the intent of the council, even though I'll be opposing the motion.
Thank you. Okay, may we vote?
All right, Mischens, vote. The motion passes 5-2. It's not showing up on here. Those who are in opposition are Councilmember Feraldi and Councilmember Reed. The rest voted in affirmative. Okay. Moving on to public hearings. These are required by law, directed by council. The procedure is staff will give a presentation. The public can give comments. Individuals have 3 minutes to speak. If speaking for a group, you have 5. Group speakers must say which group they represent. Each group gets 1 spokesperson. Each speaker must say their name and locality of residence. After public comments, public hearing will close, and the matter will rest with council. Agenda item number 7, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing the restriction and dedication of approximately 1.556 acres of conserved open space land for stormwater management purposes in connection with Perrymont Park improvements. This item was presented at the Physical Development Committee on July 8th. Mr. Wyatt Woody, Director of Parks and Rec, will provide a summary of the request.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council. Before you this evening is a recommendation for the designation of conserved open space at Paramount Park. City Council previously approved the acceptance of grants from both the Department of Conservation and Recreation and the Virginia Outdoor Foundation for improvements at Paramount. That project includes construction of a quarter-mile paved trail, picnic areas, nature paths, outdoor classroom for the school, a fenced off-leash dog area, and drainage improvements. This project is supported by both the current master plans and the comprehensive plans. The improvements of the property will generate surface water runoff or storm water, that will need to be managed in accordance with city code and state law. Conserved open space is a practice of setting aside land via deed restrictions to allow low volumes of runoff to disperse and to infiltrate, and is a state-approved measure to mitigate stormwater. To dedicate the land to stormwater management purposes, City Council will need to approve the proposed resolutions to create the necessary deed restrictions. These restrictions came before the PDC on July 8th. So to clarify, there is an additional attachment inside of your packets tonight. That was not provided during PDC. That actually just goes through more additional details regarding the mitigation process and practices. Council has also taken similar actions to Jefferson Park and the Tin Bridge Hill neighborhoods. The exhibit designates about a 1.5 acre portion, which is the bottom left of your screen there, of open space that is already in place at Paramount Park. This piggybacks on the open space that was previously recorded for the Virginia Outdoor Foundation grant, as well as an area where a stream restoration project was completed by the Department of Water Resources in 2016-2017. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have once the public hearing is closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I would just add one thing. There was and Mr. Woody had touched on this just briefly, there was a change in some of the documents. This one is now by deed versus by administrative designation, and that is to be consistent with a previous designation we did for the stormwater management purposes. That includes that additional exhibit that Mr. Woody had mentioned, but substance is generally the same, but the wording and documents are different.
Point of clarification? Can you explain the difference, since this is brand new information?
Sure. So the difference is that we still have a resolution that authorizes the designation, but because we were trying to be consistent, because we did a previous deed of restriction and dedication of conserved of open space land for, I think it was Tin Bridge. For Tin Bridge, we decided to be consistent and do a deed with this one as well, instead of a different form of administrative designation. It accomplishes the same thing, but it's a different mechanism.
Consistency, I agree.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this project? Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition? Okay. Are there any voicemail
There
from
are none.
citizens? Public hearing is now closed. I defer you to the chair of this committee, PDC, Ms. Timmer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This recommendation came forward from city staff and was passed by PDC unanimously, and I will make a motion to go ahead and pass the resolution.
Okay. This motion do not require a second. Is there any more discussion? No?
I have one more question for staff, Mr. Mayor. One quick question, Mr. Mayor. Who's the Virginia Outdoors Foundation?
Sorry?
Who is the Virginia Outdoors Foundation? Is it a state foundation? That's what I was wondering. That's all. Thank you.
Cast your votes.
Initiate vote now. The motion passes 7-0. The next section is public comment. Speakers have 3 minutes to talk. If you're speaking for a group, you have 5. City Council listens to your comments and may ask the city manager to follow up. Citizens often have different opinions. To make sure everyone feels comfortable, there's no applause, cheers, or jeers. Do not intimidate, insult, or disrupt others. Do not use profanity, promote businesses, or campaign for office. Agenda item number 8 was previously Zachary Carnavas. He has reached out and he's unable to make it today. So we'll move along to agenda item number 9, hear from a citizen regarding the way forward for City Council, Jeff Rosner. Please restate your name and locality of residence.
Jeff Rosner, Lynchburg. Council can now move forward to more transparency and more efficiency. One way is to minimize changes to the rules of procedure. Council has already spent a lot of time on the rules, and some of the proposed changes should be rejected. In the draft amendments package, paragraph 67B4 would make it easier to suspend the rules. That would be undemocratic and against transparency because it would make it easier to depart from the public agenda. Paragraphs 67B12, rescind, repeal, or annul, and 67B13, block consideration of a question, would also allow departure from the public agenda. Paragraph 51.1B, requested by Councilman Mistens, would make it easier to pass a motion in a work session. That would be undemocratic because there are no public comments in work sessions. In a different package, Timber proposed ordinance, one stated purpose is promoting transparency. Yet, it would delete Rule 686, which now says, council members shall not engage in electronic communications amongst themselves regarding a motion that is on the floor for debate. Allowing that kind of communication by deleting this rule would be undemocratic and against transparency because the public needs to know all discussion of a motion. Another stated purpose of that package and much of the general discussion is promoting free speech. Making it easier to pass motions in work sessions without public comment would be a denial of the public's freedom of speech. Another way for City Council to move forward: avoid getting bogged down in parliamentary procedures like points of order, suspensions of the rules, and substitute motions. I will submit copies of this comment to staff for distribution to the members. Thank you.
Agenda item number 10, hear from a group representative regarding principals, Greg Berry, City Elders. Please restate your name, group representative, and locality of residence.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, Vice Mayor Deemer, and council members. My name is Greg Berry. I live in Ward 3, and I'm representing the Lynchburg City Elders. All praise be to God and His Son, Jesus Christ. In what direction are we going? What is guiding us? Psalms 127 says, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. Stephen Colwell, a noted historian and author, stated, it was the spirit of true Christianity that the hospitality and blessings of the United States were offered to all the world. All were invited to enjoy it. The Christian men of that day intended that the nation should continue to be a Christian nation. They did not place Christianity beneath nor over the political institutions. Rather, It was the atmosphere in which they breathed and those who administered them. It was a source of their inspiration, and they sought to make blessings available for human advantage. These situations or institutions and laws were to be the instruments of Christian men for the good of the human family. How far have we fallen from these concepts? Why have we fallen from these concepts? Karl Marx said, "Keep people from their history, and they are easily controlled." There has been a concerted effort over the last 100 years to rewrite and distort our history. Psalms 11, verse 3 says, "If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? What can you do if you are righteous?" Is to follow Nehemiah 2:17. "Then I said unto them, Ye see the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach." Turn back to godly principles and turn away from wickedness. I have been informed of a business, the Super Rad Arcade Bar, which is receiving funding from the Downtown Lynchburg Alliance. Is this true? Are our tax dollars being used to fund such groups as Dayglow Abortions, which obviously advocates for the sacrifice of human babies? This is pure murder. This isn't the first time I brought concerns to you about the Downtown Lynchburg Alliance and how they allocate tax dollars. Is this the priority of our city management that necessitated our property taxes to continue to rise? You each were elected to govern our city, and you need to make some hard decisions. Will you actually start doing the hard work of overseeing where our tax dollars go, or will you continue to allow bureaucrats to waste our money on wickedness? Surely God will not bless us if we do the latter. I continue to pray that each of you will seek God's will. Thank you.
Agenda item number 11, hear from a citizen regarding AI in education. F.J. Jalil.
Mayor, subsequent to our rules of procedure, I request the manager provide a memo to City Council regarding Mr. Berry's comments and giving us a reminder of how they came from the governor. Thank you.
Mr. Jalil, please restate your name and locality of residence.
Mr. Jalil, City of Lynchburg. Mayor, City Council, always good to see you. All of us are at another inflection point in American history because of artificial intelligence. And worldwide history is replete with people who benefited by taking advantage of the massive changes in technological advances, as well replete with those who did not and were left behind. The crucial question is, will Lynchburg and Lynchburg City Schools prepare the way so youth and adults alike may take advantage of this AI revolution should they choose to do so? AI's impact will be revolutionary in education. It already can tailor lessons to any individual student's specific learning needs, and it can gamify curriculum to make classwork more interactive and fun. It offers immediate feedback, correction, and success reinforcements. It can be an effective teacher's assistant when there's no budget for a live one, and in many respects of teaching, improve efficiencies, although I have found teachers not liking changes if they replace methods they are accustomed to. Yet comfort and complacency can be enemies to efficiency and effectiveness. And AI connects students with global resources normally unavailable to underfunded school divisions. The dangers of AI include, but are not limited to, dividing students' attention and overriding their self-regulation. It can sidetrack them with great ease. It can hinder their problem-solving skills because it does their thinking for them, and thereby cripples an already underdeveloped critical thinking skill set. It can stunt their social and emotional development. It mirrors but lacks the warmth and empathy of human teachers. It tends to oversimplify data. It collects private student data, and it reduces health by prolonging screen time. Many more negatives exist. Now to City Council's pivotal role in AI. Keep tabs on the equipment LCS uses for its technology, software, and internet needs, making sure we have the latest and greatest. Improving all of our high-speed connectivity will be essential to future years. 2, craft policies that address AI's ethical and privacy concerns. For example, a city council could require all AI vendors to provide transparent data privacy reports and disable non-essential tracking features for school use platforms. 3, emphasize strict parental opt-in for student usage of AI tools, and especially reinforce ethics training for high schoolers using AI, because occasionally their ethics need some polishing, I've heard. 4, offer public AI literacy workshops, establish local peer networks to foster AI integrations and best practices, and perhaps community AI learning hubs for low-income families, highlighting career-oriented AI tools.
The next section is general business. It includes new items for discussion. Agenda item number 12, consideration of adopting a resolution endorsing the Virginia Department of Transportation revenue sharing applications for FY 2027. This item was discussed during the Physical Development Committee meeting earlier today.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council. I'm going to talk about the revenue sharing applications. This is a 50-50 process through localities with VDOT. We're seeking approval for 4 separate projects totaling $2,737,085. First project is the Langhorne Road Vassar Roundabout. This came before council resolution in May of 2022. The total cost of the project is $10.7 million. There is $9.9 million in smart scale funding. The funding went up due to a relocation of the city's raw water line, and we're proposing a $0.88 million cost for the additional cost on the project above the $9.9 million, and the total cost to the city of Lynchburg will be $0.44 million. The next project is the Hollands Mill Road Bridge replacement. It came before council in September of 21. The total project is $20.1 million. The request is for $3.6 million, with the city share being $1.8 million. The total cost for the city on this project will end up being $10.1 million. Next project is a Breezewood Drive reconstruction. The total project cost for this is $9.8 million. The request for this application period is $9,416, with the city share being $4,708, and the Lynchburg City's total cost would be $4.88 million, excuse me. The last project is the Link Road Rivermont intersection. This also came before council in 2019. The total project cost is up to $3.08 million, and the request for this project in this application is $41,862, with the city share being $20,931. The overall cost for the Lynchburg is $1.54 million. And I'd like to have a resolution tonight for this so I can send it in to VDOT.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Timmer?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This did come before PDC today, and we reviewed a number of major projects with the city. It's always great when you see on time, on budget. That's just a wonderful combination, and we had a lot of that combination today. Clarified on budget, all funds have been appropriated and are in their designated venues.
quick clarification on Vassar, just because there have been a number of questions, and you can speak to this and I'll summarize it, so feel free to correct me, because there have been a lot of questions about the Vassar roundabout. But Mr. Patrick clarified that with the city apportionment of funding, it's about that $400,000 dollar number, but what has been spent is about, is it 380? 325, excuse me. So $325,000 has already spent in the nature of this project. If we were to cancel or transfer the funds with VDOT, the city would be responsible for that $325,000, because there's been discussion of moving those funds into other projects. But the city contribution to that project is the 0.44 $400,000 essentially. And so the difference of that, we wouldn't be getting the benefit of the project as a whole. And the total cost of that project has decreased as inflation has gone down, as well as some aspects with the raw water line. So that was helpful clarification. I appreciate that. I am making a motion that we pass this tonight, and then not in this package specifically, but I do just want to note that the 501-221 funds are fully appropriated. Very excited about that. You can clarify my terminology here, but there was we've acquired another $13 million from VDOT, working with Chris Winstead in order to bring that in, and that project is moving forward and on time and on budget, which I know a lot of people are very grateful to hear. So just a little note that makes me very happy today. But I do make a motion to go ahead and pass this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Okay.
No second needed.
No second needed.
I'll take it.
PDC.
Cast your votes, please.
Hold on. I've got some. So just to be, if I may, Mr. Mayor, so just to be clear, we are not exceeding what we anticipated exceeding for our total city cost on any of these projects? Okay, thank you.
All right, initiating the vote now. For some reason, it's not registering. Would you mind just telling me what you voted for?
Make it a yes. It keeps giving me the oops thing.
The motion passes 6-1. Okay, moving along. Agenda item number 13, consideration of adopting a resolution approving the city's participation in the direct settlement of the opioid-related claims against the Sackler family, and a resolution approving the proposed settlements of opioid-related claims against Alvogen, Amneal, Apotex, Hikma, Indivior, Mylon, Sun, Zydus, and directing the city attorney to execute the documents necessary to carry out the participation in the settlements. Fun names. This item was discussed during the council's business item briefings on August 26th, and this does include 2 resolutions. Thanks.
May I have a motion on both resolutions?
I would only ask a question, Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Is there a need to do it twice, to vote independently?
It's whatever council's pleasure is. Certainly, if the motion makes clear we're doing both resolutions at once, I'll accept that direction.
I just want to clarify, I know sometimes we have to separate. I'll move the adoption of both resolutions.
Yes. May I have a second?
We're going to get a presentation on this?
I can give a brief summary. And the reason I didn't is because we typically don't do them when we have the business item briefings.
And usually, in my experience, Mayor and Mr. City Attorney, we've kind of reviewed this ongoing, which is why, so.
Well, with the motion and second on the table, I'll give a brief summary just for purposes of.
I'm asking for a point of clarification for you to
for discussion.
just give a brief summary to what we're actually voting on.
So you have 2 proposed resolutions that are before you tonight. So these resolutions are related to participating in settlements with the family that, the Sackler family that is specific to, I believe it's Purdue Pharma, and then there are opioid manufacturers, 8 of them. You know, I won't say all the names again. I won't do as good as a job as our clerk did, but we've heard the names. So the reason you have these is they're national settlements that the Commonwealth of Virginia is participating in, and we have agreed to join in an MOU with all other localities in Virginia to share in those proceeds related to the settlements and participating in grants and other things with the Virginia Opioid Abatement Authority. The previous settlements that we've had that City Council has approved, there has been 100% participation around the state, which is, I mean, it's incredible, it's awesome. And I know that the state is hoping for 100% participation here, because the more participation that we have, the more funds flow to Virginia and its localities. To date, not today, as of August 14th, 2025, the city's finance department indicated the city has received $752,640.78 from the National Opioid Litigation Settlements. And as of August 14, 2025, the Opioid Abatement Authority grants involving the city are Horizon Behavioral Health, which was $1,946,372, and Roads to Recovery, which was $193,421.31, for a total of $2,139,793.31. So if City Council adopts these 2 resolutions, which I certainly recommend you all do, I will take the efforts necessary for the city to participate in the settlements.
One clarification?
Yeah.
Do you have any current updates on how many other localities are participating in this settlement?
I don't. I'm sorry.
If you could keep us up to date as you learn that, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
absolutely.
Do I have a motion to approve?
You already got that?
Got it?
Second?
Okay.
I have a motion, was there a second?
I second.
Thank you.
Let's vote.
Initiating vote now?
My iPad is frozen.
Do you want to?
It's frozen. Yes.
Okay, thank
It's frozen.
Warm it up.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay. This meeting is adjourned. Our next regular scheduled meeting is to be held on September 23rd at 4 o'clock, second floor training room.